Hello, everyone. Get in, come in. Where are my guests? Where is everybody at? Okay, there you are. Hey, hello. Y'all come on and join in. Join us in on this show today. Just waiting for people to start coming on and get in because I can't see. Um, but anyway, I'm Lavern Spicer and I'm glad to be here today. And for everyone to just come in and join me in the room on Hood Conservative. I have some great special guests that are joining me today. I have Trevion, and I hope I ain't miss her name out, and Sophia, and I think Sandra will be joining us too. So we waiting on y'all to get on in and give us a shout out. Let us know that you're in the room with us. So um, I'm gonna go ahead on and start with Sophia. You could tell us a little about yourself.
We just shining bright like diamonds. My name is Sophia. I'm a lifelong conservative, and I just started and popped up on Twitter. Well, X now, but it was Twitter when I popped in, and just trying to get over all of this madness that's going on right now. From New York, so 100% Trump supporter. Been like sweating Trump since I was a kid because he was always ringside, and my father was watching boxing all the time. So I know what we're dealing with. I know who he is. I know that he's as unfiltered as he is right now. He's always has been, but it never deterred me from admiring him. And when he was saying he was going to run for president, that's when, I got all energetic. It was about time that we had somebody that was going to step up and that was going to be real about what America is and how what it means or what it used to mean to everybody, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. But things have changed, Laverne. Things are not the same no more.
Absolutely. Trevian?
So my name is Trevion Cutie. I am a lobbyist, a publicist to probably some of the biggest names in the world. I'm also a co.
Hi, excuse me. Hi, Amarosa. We see you, but go ahead on. Go ahead
Um,
on.
I am also a co-defendant in the Fulton County RICO with President Trump. So I have 3 counts in my indictment. And looking forward to this October 4th hearing where we move to disqualify Fannie Willis finally.
Yes.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Okay. Y'all get on in this room. Come on in this room because we have a show for you today. I have black women that are Trump supporters. And we're gonna talk about what I want to talk about. As for me, what I was like a lifelong Democrat, like most black families are, and we was always taught to believe that the Democrats is the ones that have our best interests at heart. Hey, Team Trump 47 in the house. So we so we was always taught that they have our best interests at heart and we should vote. Hey, Magna Nova, and we should vote and support them because they're the ones that are going to support us. And I was always thought that most Republicans were racist, that really didn't have care about other people that was not their racial color. That's what I always thought.
Yeah.
So what caught my attention was, like I always say, in 2020 when I first ran for Congress, when Trump said, "Why don't y'all go and take back your district because they're not helping you anyway?" And I knew that was true. So that's why I started listening to him. They've been lying to us for many years. So I started following along and listening. And, then that's when I changed my party and I started attending the meetings I always went to the Democratic meetings and, when I would go in the room or anything, it was always a lot of arguments. The people couldn't get along. They couldn't decide what they wanted to do or what they didn't want to do. So when I started going to the Republican meetings, even though at the time was mostly like Caucasians, different people, everybody was very welcoming. They was very supportive. They was very inviting, very warm, very friendly, and I was very surprised. But that's what I, received. So I want to talk about with you all. I don't know how long you all have been a part of the party. I know Sophia, you said like most of your life, like 18
Yeah.
years. Uh-huh.
Yeah, but it don't make too much of a difference when you grow up in the Bronx. Like you in the Bronx, it was hard. I fighting with people telling me that how you gonna be a conservative, how you gonna be Republican, and you broke, you know. So it wasn't really much. It wasn't really much different than being a Democrat. Like my vote didn't really change anything, or my opinion didn't change anything. So we was in the Bronx stronghold. We was in the South Bronx, and we moved to um the north side close to Mount Vernon, and nothing really changed, even though, Co-op City is like filled with a lot of, upwardly mobile, Black Americans and a lot of Caribbean people in that same area, Wakefield. It was different, but it was very encouraging when I would stumble upon people that was in my high school. I was lucky to be one of the ones that was advocated for Giuliani when he ran against David Dinkins. That was the year right before I turned 18, and it wasn't easy, but it was one of those things where you can see the contrast of what happened to New York when Dinkins was gone, and then Giuliani came in and just turned everything up, and he made New York, beautiful. Manhattan was beautiful. Bronx is still run down, but a lot of things was going on with the Democrats that were there. They were burning down buildings at one point to collect insurance. They was, not really cleaning up properties and had the whole community depressed. So it was difficult to be there. And of course, Charlie Rangel, my family know him deep, 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 deep. And he is as corrupt and, crooked as he was revealed to be. It was a lot, but like I said again, you forced into having to be a Democrat when you live in a Democrat stronghold. Because if you try to go against the grain, you're not really going to benefit anything. So, yeah, lifelong. But I tell you, it puts me in a position to be able to dispel a lot of and agree with. That was real though. They was telling us that they was racist, and being in the Bronx, I wasn't really exposed to people outside of being Black. But I tell you, when you get out and you move and you start to meet the people that you represented, I felt at home. I felt comfortable. I was like, all right, so y'all are really the problem. Y'all are really the problem. And it ain't us. Because I came out and I live in Connecticut, and I live in a country town, and the Republicans, they was like, thank gosh. We didn't know that there was any Black Americans that would even want to be involved in the party. So it was one of those things where I was like, and the Democrats, they did not like it. Everyone always assumes that you're Democrat when you're Black. So it was one of those things where coming through to a predominantly white community, when they found out that I was Republican, they went on Facebook and ruined my name. They dragged me through the mud. Remember, that's the Republicans, y'all. That's who's supposed to be mean and wicked, is the Republicans, but they are dirty and grimy. And like I said, it sparked me to want to. So it just sparked me to want to say something. Definitely.
Trevion, take the floor. Love
Well,
you to a badass patriot.
I wish I could say that I was a lifetime conservative, but that's just not the case. My entire family, all Democrats. I remember, sitting on the front porch and my grandmother saying, "Y'all better go down there and vote Democrat." And I was looking at her, but it was in the same conversation as she said, "Y'all better go get a job at the post office." And I remember that. Why would I want to limit myself to working at the post office? So I guess, you're going to say that I'm the black sheep of my family. I never knew why I was a Democrat. I live in Chicago. It was Obama season.
Chicago.
Yeah, it was Obama
Oh my
season.
God.
So yes, if you could imagine. So I've been to all the Obama events, the whole, the hoopla behind it. I literally have to say that I think probably around the end of 2017, 2018, I really started questioning the Democrat Party, especially when at the time I was working with Kanye West and Trump invited us to the White House and allowed Kanye to speak freely at will. Even though it didn't go according to what we were originally invited for, President Trump, we were staying in the Waldorf Astoria. Kanye was working out of the Waldorf Astoria. After that meeting in the White House, we were in the Trump Towers for 3 months. We had the entire 26th floor. So nobody can tell me about Donald John
Nice.
Trump. So that was when
Yeah.
I really started paying attention to what he was saying, what it meant for the country, the things that
Hey,
he was trying
somebody
to
say
implement.
Trump is. Somebody just commented and said Trump is a racist. Why can't you see that? Wilma. It's always it never ceases to amaze me how people want to say Trump is a racist, but nobody ever calls Biden out for being a racist,
And
even
he's
though
called
Right?
us niggers.
his best friend was the
Yes.
head of the KKK, and he did the eulogy for him and everything. I never received so much hatred until I changed my party because long as I was a
Mm.
Democrat, nobody had a motherfucking thing to
Not
say.
a damn
Not
thing.
one damn
No.
thing did they say. But soon as I changed my party, yeah, I'ma smack that fly out the room. You know me, I'm a Rosa. I'm a blow it up. I'm gonna blow it up. Let me tell you something. When I changed my party, then I started getting all the phone calls. Oh, Laverne, you're a racist, just
Mm.
like Trump. You're a
Wow.
white supremacist, and I'm black. I've been black all my damn life. How in the hell did I become a white supremacist? All
White
white,
supremacist. Mm.
you know. So I
I mean,
mean,
I think that white supremacy, it doesn't exist. There's not a white person on this planet who I feel like is superior to me, especially when the sun will kill you.
It's the
So
Democrats.
biologically, you are not superior to anybody. So I think black people have that like Stockholm syndrome where they feel like white supremacy is really real. It's not. Now, are there systematic problems within, our structural system? Yes, but as far as everybody using the word white supremacy, you just give white people more power.
and this the thing, right? Like I said, I'm black. I've been black all my damn life. I know white people been white all of their life. And y'all, we gonna freestyle. I ain't calling nobody name. You just jump right on it. Me, I grew up in Carolina, right? So one thing I know, growing up in Carolina, it was always like a light skin thing versus a dark skin
Yeah.
thing. So there, I was dark skinned in Carolina. But when I came here to Miami, then all of a sudden I became light skinned. I mean, yeah, light skinned here in Miami. So within our culture, it's just as much.
Mm.
If you want to talk about color or racism with the dark skin versus the light skin and that type of thing, but
Yeah.
nobody want to talk about it.
Well, I mean, in my family, I grew up, oh,
Nobody.
that peck of wood made me lose my job. That peck of wood is keeping me. I mean, my family was more racist than any white people that I know. So I'm not gonna
Yeah.
kowtow to that because I believe black people are more racist than white people. They just are able to get away with it.
Yeah.
Thank you,
I was
Sophia.
mean. It was just one of those things where
Go ahead, Sophia.
with the way I spoke, that was not getting me anywhere in life. And I was like, all right, well, it is what it is. But it wasn't until a black person had something to say about my vernacular that I was like, all right, you know what? You can stay pigeonholed into what you think people are about to make you be, but I could do the silver spoon, I could do the wooden spoon, I could do a platinum spoon, I could do any spoon. So what comes out of my mouth goes into my mouth is from what I'm around. So, but when you said white supremacists, Trevion, them Democrats, I swear.
That's all
I
they
was
are.
like, y'all some real, like y'all trying to, that's, they spin that. I was like, y'all trying to put us back in change. You talking about everybody. They got these people's brains locked down, and now they're trying to just usher it in. And it was one of the things when you think about how the states were first created and how they had their own power. Once the Democrats got into the federal government, they just fucked it all up. Excuse my language, but they're the ones that's making America what it should not be. I was like,
Well,
they're the white supremacists.
I
That's
mean,
why they know they're the experts on it. That's
if
why
you
they
think
know.
about it, in the 1930s, black people were Republicans. It wasn't until Truman came along and he
Yes.
desegregated the military that black people started flipping over. And then you had
Yep.
the Civil Rights Act in 1948. So it's like, look, black people just got strung along into destruction this entire time when the original root of what Black conservative was. It was inside the Republican Party. So I just feel like, look, we've got,
Yeah.
but this, we do have a light in the darkness because there are more young Republicans than there are older Democrats. So we have an awakening coming with the age group from 18 to 29, and 50% of all conservatives are in the South. So it's like, look, what are we doing here? We have the power. We just need to combine like minds, and that movement we use together for the betterment of Black people. So we're not in a deficit. We're not. We have and these Black conservatives are in the same financial bracket than Black Democrats. So we're not at a miss right here. So we just need to, coagulate together and use our power to promote Black people who deserve to be promoted. We're not going to get into Hollywood. We're not going to do all of that. That's it. We're wasting our time.
And we need to stop looking like voting for people that look like us, but absolutely is not gonna help us at all. People just don't understand. 100. And I'm gonna cut in here. Y'all think Kamala washed them greens in the bathtub?
Maybe she is. How they living.
That was embarrassing for her. The pandering, she just had no respect for herself. Whoever told her that tidbit of somewhat Southern culture and told her to say that would make her more Black, it was embarrassing. Even Black people just said, look, you know what? We still gonna vote for you, but you got to stop doing this mess. But I feel like we have hope. We have more conservatives with Black voices for Trump in 2020. We took Black votership from 8% to 18%. Now we're moving around 27, 28%. We need 30% of the Black male vote for Trump to win. We need 35% of the Black vote for Trump to win by a landslide. So I am on a 31 city tour. I'm registering nothing but Black men. When early voting starts, we're going to come back to those 31 cities. We're going to make sure that they have transportation to the polls, because we can talk all we want. If we are not actionable, we will not win. So so that's from my job, my gig right now, outside of fighting Fannie Willis, is I am rallying Black men. Black men have been disowned by the Democrat Party.
They coming.
Feel it. They know it.
And I want to read this comment that Alvarosa wrote. She said, and today it came out that she never worked at McDonald's, even though she said she was doing fries there back in the day.
And she's no character to the point that she turned it into a caricature. She ain't got no character. They trying to develop something about her because she's probably some snake that they done drafted up to come out of nowhere. But what you were saying, Trevion, Derek Gibson, like that whole segment of men that we've been missing out on, when he said niggas for Trump, I was like, yeah, they're going to try to dead that immediately. Immediately. Because coming from the hood, they didn't want to vote because they had no confidence in our government.
Right.
But now they're about to take that over. They're not going to be loud about it, but you got one of the loudest ones that's out there. So they coming. They just always been there because they've been hustling. They've been enterprising. They've been doing the whole thing on their own level. They haven't been looking for the government to do them nothing. So for real, they serious Republican or conservative because they wasn't looking for the government to do nothing.
Right.
But when he said niggas for Trump, I was like, it's over. It's dead. They just sitting down and they want to sweep it away real quick. They're coming out with joy.
And while you're listening, we need Derek Gibson back on the X platform or back on Twitter, back on X, whatever you want to call it. We need Derek back because he is a great.
Where's he been?
They took him off Twitter.
They had suspended his platform from on Twitter.
So I spoke at his rally in Atlanta.
Okay.
With Judge Joe Brown, and 2 days after that rally, they had suspended him off of X. And he had reached out to me and told me that they did, and he said it was because of some issues that the CIA had been a part of, and he had tagged the CIA in a post, and they suspended him.
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
But you know what? It's quite interesting. Speaking of the CIA, right? People on X this week was talking about in Colorado how the Venezuelan gangs had took over and they was burning the place up, setting it on fire. They had took over
Yep.
apartment buildings.
Targets.
Uh, hey, Lily Bell,
Yep.
and they had started collecting the people rent, right? And it was interesting because they said they called in the CIA, Homeland Security, the police. Nobody would come in there and interfere to help
Wow.
those people.
Yep. They just took over a
And that's
Target,
so
just
funny because
trashed the store.
when
I
Trump
wonder
was in
could they
office, that was
come.
they was chopping up people in Long Island.
I wonder could they come to
When he
Chicago
well,
and take. I wonder could they come to Chicago and take over the old block.
But you don't understand. The gangs already run the west side of Chicago, and the mayor is not
wow.
doing anything. The gang members have set up on the west side. The black gang members who used to run the west side are minions right now. They're getting
Oh
run
wow.
over. They can't move. The west side of Chicago is gang territory, and they're illegal gang territory. It's not domestic anymore. It's all illegals.
Do y'all remember when MS-13 was knocking it up in Long Island and
Mm-hmm.
Trump came directly to Long Island to fix that?
Mm-hmm.
They was taking machetes and cutting up chopping up people's children. And he
That
came
is
straight to Long
ridiculous.
Island to address that and take
That's
care of that.
ridiculous. That's ridiculous. People gotta fight back, man.
Mm,
You know, we are in a day when you could no longer sit back. If you see these people running up in your yard with a machete, be armed and be ready to protect yourself and stand your
yep,
ground.
yep,
Regardless, you know, you see it all the time on social media. They're trying to snatch people, kids out of their hands, you know, and it's just a
yep,
whole demonic, like all the devils just got let loose. So we
Yep.
gotta fight back. We gotta fight back.
And I mean, it's almost that black people are now getting what they deserve for being the dumb twats of the Democrat Party. They are getting everything. They are getting everything taken from them. All the resources that were supposed to be allotted for those.
yep,
Guess where they are? They're in the hands of the illegal immigrants.
And
Illegals are on. There was one day that there was an accident on the freeway, and I had to get to the airport, so I took the blue line. On that blue line, nothing but illegals. When I tell you they've got on new clothes,
wow,
$200 Nikes, and there were a group of old people
wow,
on that train coming from bingo. And these illegals were taunting these old people, making them feel like dirt, spitting on them.
oh
And
my God.
it was at that moment that I realized they can wipe out every fucking illegal in this country.
yeah,
I don't give a damn. They cannot be here. People can't say Trump is not needed. Kamala can't now try to get hard on the border.
yeah,
Ho, you did this shit. You did this shit. And now old people
yep,
are paying for it. The people who are the most vulnerable are paying for this shit. So
yep.
I don't care how she got to go. I hope it, I'm already telling people since 2021, Kamala is still not going to be the final candidate.
Uh, uh, what one badass patriot said, they're saying that now the illegals are trying to hijack the school buses that are full of children.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. At the
Wow.
bus stops, they're jumping on the buses at the bus stop when kids have just started school. So when
Oh
you
wow.
tell me that that hoe wants to take our guns, are you out of your damn mind? It won't be until something happens to her that
Thank
black
you,
people will wake
Mr.
up.
Johnson. Nels. You know
Oh,
what?
we have a whole president. Where's Biden?
Where is he? We don't have
Where's
no
Biden
president.
at?
We don't have a president. We
You're
don't have a
right,
president
Princess.
right now.
Angels versus demons. That's what it is. But we got to stand. We got to fight. We cannot be afraid. We got to protect those kids. You know, if you got kids that are on those school buses, you need to be there because these people
Yep,
are lunatics. They're wielding machetes, and you know, you just need to have what you need to have to take on that machete.
The kids, they're not safe getting on the school bus, and they're not safe when they get to the schools, because you get to the
Right.
school and the teachers tell them, oh, Billy, you should try being non-binary today. So the kids are not safe, period. You got to
yeah,
homeschool your kids now. The game is over for education. And that's why Trump is saying he wants to get rid of the Department of Education, because look what it's doing. We can't compete with other countries education wise. We can't.
You know, when they show like different countries, like they may show, I can't remember if it was Japan or China, one of those countries they were showing, and the kids, the young kids, they was teaching them martial arts in the classroom. They was teaching them how to protect themselves. They was teaching them like a lot of countries teach the little
Survival
kids
skills.
how
Yeah.
to fight, how to how to put together guns, how to take them apart, everything. And so these days kids basically need to know. You need
Yeah.
to put safety guidelines in place for your kids so they'll know, okay, if this happened, then this is what you need to do. If you cannot get to me, then you need to do this. So
Not even
they
that,
need
they're
to
supposed to be
know
fighting for their
this
country.
program.
Yeah, our history classes. It used to teach us about how the American resolve is why we are where we are today. They used to talk about that a lot, but now we sitting there talking about we're not even celebrating Columbus Day anymore. Now it's about the people that ain't here no more and ain't running things anymore. Reality is that they're not really trying to have any of us defend and fight for our country. So they are giving us a new flag. That pride flag ain't nothing but a replacement. It's what they're saying is they need to be proud about. They're not telling them to be proud about what stands behind you right there, Laverne. They're not telling them
Yes,
about American
you're
pride.
right.
They don't want us to be united like that.
He said it's no longer education, it's an indoctrination.
That's
And that's
exactly.
Absolutely.
exactly what it
Yep.
is. They're trying to indoctrinate your kids. They're trying to get them used to seeing grown ass men at the
Yep.
pride with their penis out, jacking off and all kind of nudity that kids should not be nowhere near when this type of stuff. Now, if it's all for grown people, that's different. But once you bringing kids into their
Yep.
atmosphere, that's
They
And
got
ridiculous.
us. They trying to tell us that we're animals. They actually have where bathrooms are being converted so that kids could go to the bathroom and like a litter box. I didn't think it was real. I didn't think it was real until
A
the kids
little
started
box,
to show that
a
litter
little box.
boxes. Because there's kids that with being a cat, or they identify with being a dog. That if you ever see
Listen,
Pride Parades, you notice
let
how
me
they
tell
got that
y'all
leather
something.
on right now.
Let me tell you something. And I don't condone this, but in my age group, the way I grew up, them ass whoopings they gave out,
Yeah.
they took care of all of that. They took care
Yep.
of all the stupidity because we didn't have no option to say, "Oh, mama, I want to be a cat or dog." Oh,
Yeah.
grandma, what? It was
Cat
like,
and
go pick
dog.
your switch. Go pick your switch. I'm gonna show you what kind of cat you get ready to be today. Go pick your switch. So this is a bunch of mental illness. It's a bunch of stupidity, and this shit needs to
Yes.
stop.
well, and then so Sonia, you mentioned, no more Columbus Day. Let me even tell you what is behind Columbus Day right now. So
Nice.
the major Democrat cities are all pushing Columbus Day out of the way for Indigenous Peoples Day.
Indigenous
So
Peoples Day.
that's what's supposed to be your Native American Indians. But then there's another group that has more power than the Indians, and they call themselves the Indigenous people, but they're Puerto Ricans, they're Dominicans, they're Hispanics, they're Latinos from other countries. So even on that level, Hispanics and illegals are
They
taking
relate.
over the Columbus Day element. And
Yep.
I know because I work for the Italian Human Relations Foundation, and we are in a fight with the mayor of Chicago right now to save Columbus Day. But you've got
Wow.
two other groups. One that's a multitude of people, and guess who else is in that group? White people who feel guilty about being white.
Yep.
So now we've got people breaking into Columbus Day that have no regard for this country whatsoever. So you can't
None.
rewrite history. You can't recreate history. It's impossible. And that's
Yep.
what we're in that day and age right now where you've got a group of non-appreciative Americans who have the easiest life in the world, more resources than any other country in the world. And they
Yep.
hate this country and they are destroying
Yes.
it from the bottom, the base of the history up until where we are now. So we need to be more aware. We're not just fighting Kamala Harris. We're not just fighting Cloud Shaw, whatever his name is. We're not just
Claudia,
fighting them. We are fighting an internal animal. We will be destroyed from the inside. The rest of the
Yep.
world cannot fight us, military wise. We are being destroyed inside our
Yep.
own country from our own neighbors. So that's why I said we need to coagulate like minds and separate. We need to segregate the country. There's no coming back from where an element of this country is. So when you ask me, am I segregating by race? No, I'm not. I'm segregating by like mind and progress. That's what, and I feel like my next move is definitely out of Chicago. There's no way. Chicago, as beautiful as it is, I've had a business here over 15 years. I've, been in politics here. I'm a medical cannabis lobbyist here, and I saw the hypocrisy and just the criminality of what the government in the state of Illinois is. So Illinois is more corrupt than DC when it comes to politics.
Yeah.
People don't realize that. But the game, that's why every governor has gone to prison here. This is what we're dealing with. So either I have to be the rogue lobbyist and tear down every politician in this state, or somebody's got to have the voice. And since I do have the platform, they'll put me in the news. I'm always in the news here, especially since, the indictment with President Trump. But Chicago has to have a group of Black conservatives, and they do. There's a woman by the name of P. Ray Easley. She is handling Chicago red. She is an amazing. She wanted to be on here today. So I'm telling you, we do have some fighters. There is a sector of Chicago that can no longer live their lives on the west side. They're being kicked out of their homes. There are government people who are coming in, giving 10 times the money to an apartment building owner, and then all the Black people get kicked out. Chicago is going to be exactly like Aurora, Colorado. Watch what I say. Give it 6 months.
It's already headed there. I mean, look at Miss Fucked Up Mayor Tiffany Manor. People so tired of her ass.
Oh my ridiculous.
God. And she's, it's like when she's there, she's sitting in the office looking like I'm ghetto fabulous as hell. What y'all want to do about it?
To her constituents.
Exactly. And Trevion, to kind of piggyback on something you said, it's no reason why white people should be apologizing for being white. It's like, should I be apologizing for being Black? Hell no.
I
didn't create myself. You know what I'm saying? And when I saw those little white kids that was kissing the shoes of
oh Lord.
People,
yes.
Man, I would have went through there and slapped every one of them sorry son of bitches all across their motherfucking head. Why in the fuck?
That is hilarious.
Y'all have little kids there kissing y'all motherfucking shoes. That shit made absolutely 0 cents.
0 cents. 0 cents. Look what I just got. Coming knocking on my door, interrupting what I got going on. Please. They are force out here. I need to get my Republican club to come get my signs on the ground so they know better. Anybody was answering the door and she ain't gone yet. Bye.
Wow.
Please. Yeah. Why is she rolling down her window? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
How come you didn't yell Trump 2024?
Yeah, she gone. Did she need something else? Wow. Two.
Over Chicago and the rest of the country. Where it might happen in a lot of parts of the country, but here in Florida, we don't play that shit. It ain't gonna happen here in Florida.
What city are you in Florida?
Huh?
What city are you in Florida?
Miami.
Okay, I have a voter registration there in 9 days. I'll be there. I'll reach
Thank
out
you.
To
you. I'll be out there working with you and helping you with it.
Nice.
Would love to.
Nice.
Matter of fact, I invite you to my food bank and I give you all the information.
Please.
When I get off, because we serve Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's at least 400 or 500 people out there or more.
Wow.
That'll be a great start.
Okay, awesome. I'll be there.
Nice.
So,
nice.
Haha.
Yeah.
Hi, ladies.
Yay! How you doing?
Oh my gosh.
There you are.
How are you? How are you?
Good.
Good. Sorry, I had some technical issues getting online.
That's okay. Well, we talking politics, so let's get to the politics part.
I saw.
Talking politics, okay? So I want to know, as a Black woman, if you're not supporting Kamala, why? And I'll start. I'm not going to support Kamala because Kamala is a lying ass motherfucker. I haven't seen her tell the truth about shit. And when I sit there and watch this motherfucker, right? It's like watching the fucking Purge. Y'all remember that movie, The Purge?
Yes.
That came out
Yes.
like years
Yep.
ago when they was
Yep.
trying to kill up all the Christians and stuff, and they had
Yep.
like one day to do it. And she is something so sinister about her. You know, she's like the type of person like you could see her locking up all them damn black people in
Yep.
California,
Right?
putting them in
Yep.
jail and sitting back laughing about it. Because
Yep.
everything is so fucking funny to her. You know,
And
and she's like a fucking hyena that's out of control, you know? So I don't trust her ass. I don't trust her agenda. I know she don't give a fuck about black people. I know she don't give a fuck about this country. I know she has a communist agenda, a Marxist
yes.
agenda. She comes
Yes.
to kill, steal, and destroy. I don't even
Yes.
want to see what this place would be like with that motherfucking office. I
So
don't even want to see it.
does
She
anybody know? Does
she's,
anybody know
I
why
mean,
Kamala
ass,
is where
you
she
know,
is?
ass going to the next level because she talks about, Kamala talks about, oh, I'm going to fix the border. Oh, I'm going to lower the food prices. Motherfucker, all that high shit took place on your motherfucking watch. All of it. Well, Trump was in office,
Yep.
gas was low, food was low. People could afford to go to the grocery store. People could afford to pay their rent. But ever since Kamala and Joe been in there, they fucked shit up for everybody. Okay?
Everything was low and our retirements were high. My retirement was through the roof. Now it's I could barely stand. I'm looking at it like I'm gonna be broke all my life. I can't even be old and retire and have some money. I was like, no, this not working. Kamala is sick. All of her parties are sick. Everything that they do is sick. And I'm just waiting for her just to move out of the way. Like you remember, she and Hillary Clinton homegirl. They mad close, and Hillary's trying to put us in deprogramming. We have to figure out how we could deprogram people. They probably gonna come knocking on all our doors right now because they
Well,
see that
guess
we
what?
we,
They
we
can't
straight up eating.
deprogram us with that bullshit that they pushing,
Yes,
especially when she's sitting around talking about, I don't feel no ways tired. Motherfucker, we know you ain't tired. You should be
yeah.
tired of shit. Everything for you is a damn phone call. And look at Obama, Michelle Obama. What did she say? Oh, everybody should just live within their means and be satisfied with what you have. Well, it's easy for you to say that, motherfucker. You got 5 motherfucking mansions.
Well,
5
let's
motherfucking
give a
mansions.
little background on Kamala Harris, what people don't know, and the reason why Kamala is where she is right now. Kamala Harris, there was a bank in California called One West Bank. It was owned by George Soros. The bank was kicking people out of their properties, ended up having like 5,000 somehow plus indictments against this One West Bank owned by George Soros. Kamala, as district attorney, wiped away all of those indictments for George Soros, and then George Soros sold the bank. There's a lot of things that Kamala has done that has put her, she's not a heavyweight, she's a puppet. She's cleaned up so
Yep.
much dirt as far as murder and so on and so forth, took people's kids from them because they had a disease and couldn't go to school. Kamala is the dirtiest devil. She's matching Hillary Clinton. She's done more dirt for that Democrat Party and those other politicians and your big oligarchs. She's done their dirty work. That's the only, Kamala can't, she's not smart. She can't even debate by herself. She has to have a babysitter. So Kamala is dumb as hell. She's not a heavyweight at all. She's just the cleanup person, and they put her up there so she can continue to clean up everybody else's dirt. She's the doggiest, dirtiest devil I've seen. She's not black. She has no American blood in her whatsoever, and not of a single American of any. She has no Indian blood here. She has no blood in this country.
Was she born in the United States or no?
Well, she. Let me just tell you another thing. Kamala shouldn't even be running. She shouldn't even be able to run for office. She was born here while her parents were on a diplomatic visa. That's how fucked up this situation is with Kamala. So that trash dog, I don't care if Nancy Pelosi takes her out and put Gavin Newsom in there. She's got to go because she's just a clean-up lapdog. She's a clean-up lapdog for everything dirty that goes on in this country.
You don't want to replace her with Gavin Newsom.
Well,
you know that.
I mean, at least he's
California.
You know, at least he's white. because
Are
she
you?
And
ain't
don't
black.
leave out, she also took Nina Simone's home from their family
Mhm.
also.
Mhm.
That was within that one
No.
West Bank situation.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
So whatever it is, I don't know how black, well, I do know how black women got to the state. It was because of white liberal women. And now black women are the lapdogs for white liberal women. And it's so sickening.
That
They
I
are
agree with.
so, I don't know what the word is. How did black women believe in killing their babies? Because when I was growing up, my grandmother wouldn't let anybody in our family who got pregnant kill a baby. She would
Yep.
raise that baby. Black people are conservatives by nature. And for them to love Trump for 2 decades, 3 decades, and then turn around and call him a racist because the media said he was racist, when he's the only one of all the candidates who's never used the word nigger.
It's politics.
So
It's they
we can
don't.
look at every other
You.
president and find them saying nigger. Okay?
They
If
will
Trump
say
said it,
anything. They will say
Sa-
anything to
Sandra,
prejudice people's minds.
can you
Hello. Sorry.
introduce
Hi.
yourself?
Hi,
Can
everybody.
you
I'm
introduce
Sandra.
yourself to everyone since you're just coming on?
Oh, am I muted?
No, you're
no,
not.
we
Oh.
can
We
hear
can.
you.
I'm Sandra, um, and I'm a friend of Laverne's. A big fan of Laverne's because she's fighting the good fight, the good conservative fight. Um, I'm not. I'm not as vocal as I don't have the bass in my voice like but I'm equally as passionate and
Yeah.
ferocious about what I think the potential is of our country and what we can do. I feel like we're definitely going in the wrong direction. I feel that, but I do feel that people are waking up. I am hopeful because the streams of particularly black males who have now
Yeah.
rallied behind Trump, they've seen it.
Yep.
They've seen the arrests, they've seen the railroading, in the justice system, and it mirrors them, and they could relate. So that was not a hard sell. You notice they don't call him a felon anymore. At least, I mean, they're trying to take him to court again, but they're not calling him a felon
Yeah.
because, you know, what they want to do is label someone and have that stick. It didn't stick.
Well, it was because
So they had to
Hunter
go on to
Biden
something
became a
else.
felon, so they had to remove calling people
Absolutely.
felons. Yeah.
But they also saw how it raised his popularity and
Yeah.
how people had the opposite effect. He wasn't damaged goods anymore. He was
Right.
one of us.
Yep.
He's a
Yep.
black man.
Yep.
He's like a black man. Trump's, people literally said that. He's like a black man. I know this exact same system. I've been a victim of it. So, but I'm equally as passionate. I'm more on the side of what can we do? What can we present as our mission statement, our Bill of Rights, however you want to, term it, to make sure that we don't get left behind. I
Yeah.
don't believe that Trump will leave us behind. We saw what he
Right.
was able to do with the black community,
Yep.
with historically black colleges during his administration. He had phenomenal success, and he raised the income. He closed the income gap with blacks
Yep.
during his administration. It got better and better, and you just were talking about 401ks and portfolios. People started to see profits. They started to see profits, but
Yeah.
those profits have eroded. And
Yep.
we talked about this in our last meeting together, Laverne, and I just want to say that there are 3 buckets in retirement. There's no tax. There's tax. There's tax after you retire, because once your 401k starts
Yeah.
paying you in your scheduled payments, you've got to pay tax on that. Okay.
Yeah.
And then there's a no tax bucket, which most people who are financially savvy, things like cash flow from, income properties, life insurance, and things like that. So, what happened with 401k is that look at what happened to the stock market within the last month. People's retirements got in jeopardy. And if you retire within 1 to 5 years of something like that happening, it could literally demolish your retirement.
Yeah.
Because your scheduled payments change. They base your schedule of payments on today's assumptions, but the assumptions are now different. And, with the volatility, election season, and things like that, it's, this is what people work their entire lives to accumulate so that they will, have sufficient amount of money through retirement. But that's in jeopardy right now. And so these are what? What'd you say?
I was making a comment. I said, James, that sounds like a plan. But go ahead.
What sounds like a plan?
I'm reading, Sandra. I'm multitasking. I'm listening to you. I'm reading because people are putting up the comments. So I was responding to it. But go ahead on.
No, so Laverne and I have talked about, coming together and creating our own women's Bill of Rights. And obviously it can include men as well, but you can't just throw money at the problem, which is what Democrats always do. If you can't teach a person to fish, how are they going to be able to understand how that money can work for you or work against you? And when you're given money, it's not a money problem, it's a spending problem. How much of us have taken our tax returns the minute we've gotten our tax return money and taken it to the white man at Best Buy?
Thank you for that comment. I see you up there. Thank you for the comment.
How often are we doing that? So it's a spending.
Or the Beyonce concerts. Get that tax check and go to Beyonce concerts. That's why she does it at the beginning of the year.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, she want that tax check.
We've got to start being very loud about creating legacy wealth.
Yes.
Not only wealth accumulation for ourselves, but also for the people that are coming after us. And so we have to invest in our own businesses, sound businesses. But with those sound businesses, we need training. We need mentorship. We can't, government throws money at the problem. Bring in mentors who are, whether volunteering on Sunday afternoons after church or, on the weekends, like people do at Little League games. People volunteer because they want to make sure that kids are active in sports and they excel and whatnot. How about helping us to excel in business, giving us the tools that they're teaching people in Harvard, they're teaching people at Princeton and all of these prestigious universities. They're getting the tools. And I always say this, and people, sometimes take it one way or another, but I think that some of the smartest people on earth are people who live in the inner cities.
Absolutely.
Think about how they navigate.
That's survival right there.
Survival.
The inner city's a survival.
Think about how they exchange money. They know their money to the penny.
Yeah, they're conservative for real.
Their money. What could they do? What could they accomplish if they were mentored by the right people? How much could that soar? How much could we change a legacy of inner cities that have not changed?
It was a comment somebody made. The guy made a comment, right? And he said that he bet that people in Colorado, rural, wish they would have exercised their 2A rights when those Venezuelans showed up at their front door. The problem is a lot of people are so afraid. A lot of people live their life totally in fear. But in these days, what do you have to lose if you stand up and fight for your life, for your family's life, for your kids' life? Because you can't run from everybody. You cannot live your life being afraid. You got to fight back. You got to stand up.
Well,
and
one of
stop
the
being
one of
afraid.
one of one of the biggest detriments, and you all may get mad at me for saying this, is the Black church. Because if the Black church is not investing,
They do in themselves. They do.
You know what, Trevion? You have certain Black pastors that
Yes.
speak out and fight. They're
Yes.
not afraid. There's certain ones like Gino Jones.
but they're
He's not afraid.
conservatives.
Huh?
They're conservatives.
They're not afraid. Certain ones, but the rest of them, I feel like they've been paid off
Yep.
and they don't want to mess up their money. So they're not trying to get in where they fit in.
They are not. They
They're
are
not
not.
going to do it.
And that's another reason why young Republicans don't go to the Black church, because they've seen what the Black church has and hasn't done for their communities.
Well,
So
they've also changed. They've also changed their position on a lot of social issues.
And Black is not
Absolutely.
their identity. Black is not their identity. So they're looking farther. They're building more for them. They see the big picture.
Oh,
So-
I've seen it out here in California, with building plans like the ex-Staples Center, which is now, I think it's gone through 2 different names since the Staples Center. This is a good plan. This is a good plan for us on the pulpit. It's a good plan for us.
Right.
You need to vote for this.
But when the opportunity zones were there, they didn't go in. Like when you were speaking, do you remember the whole opportunity zone thing?
Mm-hmm.
In the Black communities, it went straight into the hands of Democrats. So they didn't even talk about it. The Black pastors did not talk about how to encourage it. And then the very people that it wasn't designed to benefit came right in and swooped up and started buying buildings, started buying properties in Philadelphia. They started buying, I think they was going through it in Chicago too. They were buying it up in Hempstead, New York. Meanwhile, you're right. They're not speaking to that.
Harlem has become,
Yep. Gentrified.
It's gentrified. It's elite. You can't touch it. You can't touch it and so consequently, Blacks are being moved further and further out from where they lived. So,
but those things also happen at the hand of the Black church. People don't
they're in the pocket.
The damage
that's my
Black
point.
church has done to the Black community.
They're in the pocket of.
And so this is what I'll say.
Organizations.
I dated the Secretary of State of Illinois, Jesse White, for 15 years. I learned everything that I know about politics from that man. He's the longest running Secretary of State in the nation. He ran the largest Secretary of State's office in the nation. He was the only politician in the state of Illinois that had no scandal. But what I will tell you, when every election came around, he was the scapegoat for the Democrat Party. He had to go to 50, 60 Black churches during an election cycle with the governor-elect or the incumbent or whomever to keep that Democratic power in place. So we just have scapegoat Democrat politicians. They are to keep the overall political agenda intact. Mm-hmm. So when I tell you, Raphael Warnock is one of the dumbest people on the planet.
He looked dumb. He looked dumb.
And I will tell you a few things also. And Georgia is the path to the White House. That's why you see everybody coming in, just honing in on Georgia. I think Kamala and Tim are supposed to be there today or tomorrow.
Again.
So Brian Kemp was Secretary of State when he was running for governor. Brian Kemp cheated Stacey Abrams in that race for governor, and Stacey Abrams never got over it, which is why she didn't concede. The Secretary of State run the election. He rigged that. He lost to her. He rigged that election. Subsequently, which is why we're dealing with what we're dealing with in Georgia and how Democrats can win at will. Brian Kemp is the godfather of stolen elections
Wow.
in Georgia. Dave
You
Perdue,
Wow.
believe
Dave Perdue
you
didn't
believe
lose to John
that
Ossoff.
the woman, what was her name again?
Stacey Abrams.
Stacey. You believe that he
No
lost
question about
her?
it, which is why Stacey
Wow.
Abrams never
Still talks
conceded in
about
that race.
Mhm.
She had to run again, but then now we had Brad Raffensperger as Secretary of State. The reason why Brad Raffensperger did not open up the election investigation for Donald Trump in Georgia is because it would have allowed Stacey Abrams to go back and open up the
Relitigate.
election against
Wow.
Brian Kemp.
Mhm.
So now we're losing elections to Georgia in Georgia at will. Herschel Walker didn't lose. Dave Perdue didn't lose. So Brian Kemp
Really?
taught the Democrat Party
How
how
to
to
do
steal
it.
elections in Georgia, and we have not won since Brian Kemp cheated. So we
Wow.
need to
Well,
look at this situation.
apparently they've made a pact. I mean, you can never get in bed with any of these people, but apparently he and Trump, because Trump has been very
He turned
vocal.
around and dogged Trump out the next day.
Oh, he did.
So
You know, and
Wow.
that's sad because Trump has helped so many people. This
So
man
many.
helped so many people. Look at all the blacks he's helped. He helped tight ass the one that was super fat and he's super skinny, looked like the little Woodstock flying bird.
where?
What's his name? Al Sharpton.
Oh, that one.
Oh, Sharpton. Yeah, he did. He did. He
The
helped
Reverend.
a ton of people. Right,
He,
the Reverend.
Jesse Jackson. You know, he helped
Jesse Jackson.
he helped a lot of the boxers. He let them stay in Trump Towers for free. And he was friends with everybody until he decided to run for office. And that's when he became a racist.
Yep.
So he said, I'm running
I
for
came
president.
from New York. He was the man. He was the man.
Amazing.
In
Absolutely.
when the Twin Towers came down, he was one of the first people onto this
Yep.
toxic site
Yep.
with builders, helping them going into these buildings. You didn't even know, because a lot of people have unfortunately died of cancer, just being exposed to that. I was living in Midtown, and the fumes and the cloud cover was permeating even, uptown. And I was way uptown at that point. So
he took care of all of New York.
He did.
The West Side Highway
Yeah.
had his name all over it until they decided that they wanted people to think Trump's name was on every building on the West Side Highway. The West Side was filled with, you should know, filled with prostitutes, filled with gangs, filled with pornography. And he saw a vision for the West Side Highway and turned that whole area around. And what the Democrats like to go back and do is try to, pigeonhole him to evictions. And he was like, you got to get rid of the scallywags. It don't matter what color they are. You got to get rid of these people if you want to bring about some kind of prosperity. And his whole name was on the West Side Highway for every building. And they pulled them all off because they want people to try to forget that President Trump is the reason why New York even had a leg to stand on. Giuliani is a reason why New York had a leg to stand on. But they dragged him through
went
the mud.
in there with them. Giuliani was going into those burning ember buildings with him, risking their own lives. Thankfully, they didn't suffer like some of those firefighters did. But, he did a lot for New York. I mean, I saw it for years because I come from the East Coast. I know about the skating rink that was malfunctioning for, I don't know,
was
decades?
It like 30 years?
I don't know. It was
30
a long
years.
time. It was a long
years.
time. It was
Jacob Javits Center. The Jacob Javits Center.
I mean, these places were dead in the water, non-functioning. This is a man with a plan. This is why I keep going back to what can we present as our plan? Can we present a set of ideas and you help us to plan how we can execute it even?
I know one thing we don't need to present is Kamala's ass because when I think about Chicago, right? You know, y'all in the Black community, we've been seeing people like struggling for years, you know. And every time we went we asked the elected officials for help, or, you know, we need funds for this, or the seniors need more funds for that, the veterans need more funds to pay their bills and stuff. Nothing was never available. Now all of a sudden they shitting money out of both sides of their ass for these illegals. You know, like in Chicago, we seen them getting like 15,000 in food stamps.
Food stamps, yep.
$5,000 cash. They don't even get that shit to the veterans. They don't even give it to the veterans. What about the people been suffering that work hard to help build this damn country in the first place? They're in New York. Look at him. $5,000. They're staying in $10,000 luxury hotels. California, $300 million for immigrants. You know it's going to be for them for first-time home buyers. They giving them everything that they told us that they could not do.
Yep, for years. In Chicago too, I know you've seen it. With the school, that was shut down for, decades. All of a sudden they got money to invest in it to open it for some illegals where they should have been opening for the students and the children that were out there. That is mad crazy. They did it in Brooklyn too. They did the same thing.
They say in New York they was putting those kids out of the school.
As they're doing that, they're bankrupting a nation because that money has to come from somewhere.
Absolutely.
Social Security is also is already in jeopardy.
Yeah.
They don't expect it far outside of like 2035, I think it is, or something like that. I think it's somewhere in 2030. They're expecting it to go bankrupt. Now, why would they go and write a blank check for all of these giveaways to people who have spent zero time in this country? This is another slap in the face. This is why I keep going back to how can we assert our demands as to what we
I think I know how to do that. I think, if we want to collectively put together an agenda, I think I do have an avenue in which to present it. But I wanted to respond to a comment that came in. Someone asked if I thought that they were going to be able to steal Georgia again. I just want to give an update on what is happening in Georgia. So the Georgia State Board of Elections has investigated and found out, one, there were over 500 and some odd thousand votes that were ballots that were invalid. And then there were another 300,000 something that were run through twice or were another process that was invalid. They have also found out that some certain people that, I may be indicted because of did some untowardly things. Now, the State Board of Elections under Janet Johnston has put together a plan to make sure that Georgia does not get stolen again. They have poll watching. They have in that presentation, they have that they want to make sure that all ballot location polls are reconciled at the poll. So nothing can happen they want all mail-in ballots put on the Georgia State website so that we can control who those ballots came from, when they came, how many came in, so that we can't have what happened in 2020. They also have a group in Georgia right now that's fighting against making sure that election is secure. Brian Kemp, when someone said that Brian Kemp became an ally just recently of Donald Trump, that's not true, because as soon as the Georgia State Board of Elections put that policy plan out in public, you had a whole bunch of state representatives that came in to try and shut it down. One specifically, and I posted about her a couple of days ago. I called her a dirty Muslim. I'm Muslim, so Allah says we can call out dirty Muslims, and she's a dirty Muslim. Her name is Namila Islam, and she was the ringleader in trying to fight these protocols being put in place by the Georgia State Board of Elections underneath Janice Johnston. So they are doing everything that they can right now to prevent what happened in 2020 in Georgia. But now we have Georgia, state reps coming, oh, that's voter suppression. You can't do that. Wow. How is it that you fight common sense policies to secure election, to have election integrity, and you have now the entire state government coming in to fight it? So we're doing what we can in Georgia. I followed Janice Johnson and talked to her recently at the Trump rally in Atlanta. She basically, now it's been proven, Georgia was stolen. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. It was stolen. So the reason
and he just got indicted again for he just got indicted again
today. Are you kidding me?
Yesterday, yeah.
Oh, yesterday. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
2 days ago. But that was
January 6th for telling people that they could object peacefully and protest peacefully, go peacefully, don't he didn't tell.
We don't have to object peacefully either. Like, I'm just trying to say, like, for real.
I mean, we don't. That's a true point.
We don't. But conservatives tend to object with their voice rather than with their fists. We're much more.
It's getting past that, though. Getting past that.
I know conservatives that reject with their guns. They just need the signal. So you have to, there's a group of us that sit out here waiting to shoot off, because we know we will
because that's what it's going to take.
Yeah, that's what it's going to take. So
because if you think about it,
I don't agree with that. I don't agree. I don't agree.
Well, this is the only reason why I'm saying it, Sandra, because you have to listen to the things and the statements that Kamala is making. You know what I'm saying? The statements that she's making are very authoritarian. They're very Marxist. You're not going to be able to handle that being polite, because being polite is how we got here. Being polite is how we got here.
It's in the first place.
And the thing about it is when you say necessary roughness, there wasn't any real significant roughness that took place on January 6th by the hundreds of thousands of people that were there. But they got scared.
Let in. They're videos
beyond
of that, letting them in, giving them tours of
but beyond
corridors and things like that.
You have Nick Searcy. There's Nick Searcy. He came out with, of course, it was banned on Twitter and everywhere else. That was called Capital Punishment. And it had like drones that were flying overhead from the Stop the Steal from the rally going on down to there. You couldn't get through the streets of DC. There was mad people out there. It was mobbed. They were afraid, because if those people were armed, we'd be in a different America right now. A completely different America right now. So they did go with a peaceful resolve, and look what happened to them. They started putting grandmas and grandpas in jail for just being there. They're still hunting down people for just being there, and they're trying to scare us from any potential of lifting up the voice, fighting. You know what I'm saying? Trump threw that fist up because something in him told him that you got to just tell them to fight. They're going to keep coming at you. They're going to keep coming at us. It's a lot that goes on.
They got to fight. There's not the time to be still. He already told you. Fight, fight, fight. We got to fight. We got to be willing to fight, because
we are fighting.
If you don't stand for what you believe in, then you're going to fall for just anything. And people need to stand up and not be afraid.
If we're going to go quietly, Sandra, we have to have the people that are elected in office to be in front of us. I'd say put them all out front first.
I'm not suggesting that we go quietly. I mean, on this forum, I personally don't want to talk about, warring factions. I didn't come on here to talk about fighting with fists and, warring with other people. I thought we were going to talk about how we're going to move ahead, how we can press forward,
what we are saying, Sandra, not to cut you out, what we're saying, so many people are so afraid, and people are very passive these days. Like, if you're looking at social media, you see people that are being attacked, that are in their homes, that people are running through their front yards with machetes coming for their families and stuff, because people are afraid. So what we are saying is that when they run into you, Don't be afraid. Stand your ground. Fight for your family. That's what we're saying. We ain't saying like go out there and just beat somebody ass. No, we're saying stand up for your family and don't be afraid, because we have all of these illegal gang members that are in this country. They're coming after the
A lot.
kids. They are it was a matter of fact was on the news this morning. One was watching a little 6-year-old girl in her house. He's standing outside as a peeping tom, peeping through the window, watching this little girl get dressed to go to school. So that's the type of things we are talking about that need to be stopped, you know. But so what we are saying is now's not the time to be afraid. Now's not the time to be afraid.
And
I think
Sandra, and
I
I
don't
do
And
think
it's not
I think
proactive,
they
it's
were not.
reactive.
I think they were
Things are
not
reactive.
being afraid by
acting,
by
being
talking.
actionable.
By talking and trying to come up with solutions and trying to press forward. How do we move forward? There are threats. We
As a
know
country or
there's
as a community? Because
both.
as a
And
community, I'm not fighting with my
It's got to start
community.
in the community.
like she said, kids are being grabbed off of school buses. And before you came on, they was also talking about these
Trying to hijack
gang
the
members
school
are hijacking these school buses now. So people need to be aware of what is going on. See, they said in California, those school buses are being hijacked. So people need to be aware.
We have to demand police presence. Someone's dumb idea years ago was to, I mean,
Defund the
that is, to me, that just correlates with suicide. Why would you?
It's a
Why would you?
plan,
Why would you?
too.
Why would you shoot yourself in the head? That really is akin to that.
So that
to
the
me,
government
because-
can come scoop us up.
Well,
You know what? When I think about the defund the police, especially in New York, I've moved and no, within a year, somebody was shot dead across the street from the house that I raised my children in. You know what I'm saying? Defunding the police makes it so that your uncles, your aunts, and your fathers, your brothers, your sisters, if things hit the fan, they can't even
they're
protect
not
you
protected
because there's
right.
not enough going into the community.
But
So when they
what
did
group?
level things off,
What group? But our group would even
right?
sign on to something like that. Like when that proposition came out, I was like, "Are you effing kidding me? Are
Yeah,
you kidding
absolutely.
me? We need not just police, more police."
and
Because
Sandra, I do get your point, about trying to build the solutions, because we do have a lot of problems, and just talking about it is not creating the solution. And
Right.
people, want to continue to talk truth to power. You can no longer talk truth to power, because power does not listen. Power doesn't have to listen. So when you talk about the solutions, what I was telling earlier before you came on, I'm on a 31 city tour. I've done 12 cities already, registering Black men to vote. I went after the endorsement of Farrakhan for Donald Trump, because regardless of what people say, we have no Black leaders in this country. We have no Black male leaders. We
he's a
have Black
supporter,
America has
right?
no leadership.
He's
Now,
a supporter of Donald Trump, right?
well, so not that Black America follows Farrakhan, but Black America will listen to Farrakhan. That would have been the ultimate endorsement coming out of Black America. I tried to get it. His son cock blocked it. So
because I've heard him on interviews talking about how Trump was,
Yeah.
and
I
I've
believe
seen him,
that
I've seen him
Farrakhan would have
speaking
the best-
publicly about
think-
how Trump was the answer.
Exactly. And
for
I
what
know
we
that
needed.
Farrakhan would have one of the best agendas to present to the Trump administration
Yeah.
for Black America. And so
Absolutely.
when you can get out,
because he's always been and this
He's
is what I
always-
keep going back to. He's always been Black centered,
exactly.
and so his emphasis, his focus is on
Black America,
on Black excellence. I mean,
Black
the way-
productivity, Black
the way
economics.
exactly
Yes.
the way
And the
Always.
the
family,
Black Muslims have
Black
carried
family and
themselves,
community.
family,
Put
community,
the black
but
family
Black
together.
excellence, built
So when I
lifting
tell you
lifting.
it's Black people stopping Black America, it's Black people stopping Black America. So
Oh,
we have
I
to
know.
actually bring in people outside of the community to open the eyes and open the minds of Black America to something bigger, because for whatever
Yeah.
reason they don't want to believe it from somebody Black. You can't possibly know what you're talking about. It's wrong. I have tried everything. So I am more than welcome to get with you on some solutions that I have put together, the Coalition of Black Men,
Good.
conservative Black men in America,
Mhm.
that I will plan to present to the Trump administration for them to express their issues, to express their goals and what they want for their communities. I am not sitting idle because I'm in an indictment with President Trump. I understand the bigger
Nice.
picture. And so I am, collectively asking all of you in your communities to do the same, because we as Black women, yes, we can have our own power, but we are nothing without Black men. And we have far, far, far,
You're
far
right.
gone our Black men. And so for me, I'm trying to put Black men at the head of Black America again. And we have this disgraceful group of Black women out here saying, I don't need a man. I'm going to kill my baby. I don't want to do it. We've got to put Black men back in power. And there are enough of them who are intelligent, who are forthright and forthcoming in what they want to happen and transpire in this country to help better their families and our community. So that's the goal. The goal is Black men. If you want a solution, we have to put Black men back at the head of the Black family and the Black community.
Okay, y'all,
Absolutely.
listen.
Somebody brought up
Get
races.
ready to close, but in closing, I would like for each one of you to tell how people that would like to reach out to you, how they can reach out to you, and how they can find out more about you and everything. Starting with you, Sandra, and we're gonna make a you and come back to me, and I'm gonna close out.
I should go last because I didn't hear the question. What did you say? Who am I?
Let's say if people
Represent.
want to reach you,
Represent
if they like
yourself.
to reach out to you, how can they reach you?
My name is Sandra Prosper, and I am a political science file, I guess you would say. I love political science. I studied political science in college,
Nice.
so I've always been. I come from a political family in another country. I was born in another country, so I am American, but not by birth.
But this is how they can reach out to you, Sandra. What
Oh,
platforms?
oh, we're not just giving bios. Okay,
No,
okay,
we did the bio already. We finished with that. We get ready to shut
okay,
the show down. So
okay. I'm a little late. I'm a little late to the party, but you
out
can
to
reach
you.
me. You can reach me on Twitter. I'm on Twitter at Happily Haitian because that's where I was born. I was born in Haiti. You can reach me on Instagram at Sandra.prosper. And I guess that's it.
Okay.
More, Sandra. People need to get their money right. They need to. We talked about
We
that
need
before,
to
and I
get
think that
our money right. Money's power, right?
yes,
We want to unleash prosperity because money is power. When you have
yes,
power, then it
Respect.
doubles and triples your stake in the game and your
yes,
say in the game.
yes.
Okay.
You know,
Sophia.
Well, I'm always here. I'm always on X. I am here all the time, day, morning, noon, and night, hollering at Laverne, hollering at Trevion, hollering at Sandra on the phone when I did survive death last week. But I'm here on X. I'm under Patty Free, but my name is Sophia Johnson. And I just, we got it. We do have to come up with a plan. Today was the day to be able to just express what we've been having on this chest for so long. But I have to say, Laverne, thank you for bringing us together because I've
yeah.
seen many forums where women have spoken, and I could just see the stretch. And people keep talking about diversity, but the diversity is just within the mind. It has nothing to do with the skin. And you brought some real women to the table today, and it was a pleasure just being here. And but the one thing I'll go out on is when someone mentioned that Farrakhan is racist. You can't say that somebody is a racist to someone that's been in the GOP and someone that has lived within a DNC. Racism ain't got nothing to do with party. They vote too. So You miss everything with all of that. It's about being an American nationalist. It's about wanting to be able to feed your family and be able to do it without somebody kicking down your door, be it illegal or the government. So, there's no room to talk about race in this head of the game. We need to talk about protecting our country and defending our freedom and defending our liberty and defending each other. So that's where I'm at with that. Thank you again, Laverne.
Okay.
Thank you,
Trevion.
Sophia.
So my name is Trevion Cutie. Thank you, Laverne, for having me. I am
I love
on
your name.
every social media handle is Trevion Cutie, with the exception of X, because I've been suspended 3 times. So I'm under Free Trevion on X. I want to thank everyone. I want everybody to get out and do something, no matter if it's big or if it's small. You cannot sit idle. The survival of this country is on the line. We must do something. Everyone take one, grab one, do something, no matter what it is, towards the freedoms for the goal of this country, Trump 2024.
Yes.
Laverne,
Yes.
can I just add something? Can I just add one thing?
Go ahead.
I would also say that a lot of words are being flown back and forth, right? I just ask whoever's listening or watching this, listen to what is being said,
Yes.
and listen, more importantly, to what is not being said.
Not said. Yes.
And
Word.
that contrast is very clear if you look at 2 parties. I'm not asking you to, vote because you like somebody or whatever, but vote for the person who's going to do your bidding. And at the end of the day, if you're someone, whether you're in your 20s or your 60s and 70s, you want safe communities, you want money in your pocket, you want to know that your retirement is safe from
Come on, Sandra,
from
wrap
being
it up. Only got a few minutes because they get it done.
from being bankrupt and taxation. So just listen to what's being said and listen to what's not being said.
Okay,
really
everybody. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Thank all the
Thank you for having me.
Joining. We had over 3,000 people join in and listen to what we had to say today. Thank you so much for coming on the show, everybody. This is the Lavern Spicer Show, Hood Conservative. Love you.
Hood Conservatives.
Black people in the house, black women in the house. Woohoo! Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Exactly.
Nice meeting you. And
pleasure.
See you soon, Sophia. Good talking to you.
See ya. Bye.
Bye, everyone.